Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts Daily. I'm your host Kyle Wood. Today we'll be diving into the fascinating world of Mesopotamia, a name that literally means the land between the rivers in ancient Greek. This region, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, is often called the Cradle of Civilization because it's where some of humanity's earliest and most impactful innovations emerged. Spanning what is largely modern-day Iraq and parts of Syria, Turkey, and Kuwait, Mesopotamia was home to remarkable cities like Uruk, Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh, each a center of innovation, culture, and power. But before we get into the fun facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. Early monetary systems were developed around trade, largely focused on getting even quantities of food. Could it be that ancient Mesopotamians used chocolate or cacao beans as a form of currency, even burying their dead with large stashes of it? What do you think? Is this a sweet fact of history or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is cuneiform. Cuneiform is one of the earliest systems of writing distinguished by the wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets. The word cuneiform comes from the Latin cuneus, meaning wedge, and forma, meaning shape. The writing system was developed by the Sumerians of Mesopotamia around 3500 to 3000 BCE, making it one of humanity's first attempts at recording information in a structured way. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Mesopotamia. Number 1, Mesopotamians created one of the earliest known wheels, and it started as a tool for manufacturing, not travel. While often debated, evidence strongly suggests that some of the earliest wheels were used in Mesopotamia, specifically by the Sumerians around 3500 BCE. These weren't initially for transportation as we know it, but rather pottery making, revolutionizing the production of ceramics. The invention of the potter's wheel significantly increased efficiency and led to more uniformly produced vessels. About 300 years after the potter's wheel, the concept of the wheel was adapted for transportation. Early Mesopotamian chariots and carts using solid wooden wheels allowed for the movement of heavy goods and facilitated trade over long distances. This innovation drastically impacted agriculture, warfare, and the overall development of complex societies, paving the way for further technological advancements. Number 2. Mesopotamia was home to the world's first cities, truly grand and sprawling urban centers. Before Mesopotamia, human settlements were generally small villages or nomadic camps. But around 4000 BCE, settlements in Mesopotamia began to grow into large, organized cities like Uruk, Ur, and Eridu. These cities were not just collections of houses. They featured monumental architecture like ziggurats, temple towers. They also featured complex irrigation systems, specialized labor, and sophisticated administrative structures. The rise of these urban centers led to profound social and economic changes. They became hubs of trade, craftsmanship, and intellectual activity, attracting people from surrounding areas. The sheer scale and complexity of these early cities demonstrates the remarkable organizational and engineering capabilities of the Mesopotamian people, laying the groundwork for future civilizations. Number 3. The concept of a written law code designed to ensure justice and order first appeared in Mesopotamia. One of the most famous examples is the Code of Hammurabi, enacted by the Babylonian king Hammurabi around 1754 BCE. This extensive collection of laws, inscribed on a large stone stele, covered a wide range of issues, from property rights and trade to family law and criminal offenses. It aimed to establish a sense of fairness and prevent arbitrary judgments, even if some of the penalties seem harsh by today's standards. The Code of Hammurabi was significant because it was one of the first attempts to codify laws systematically and publicly, making them accessible to all citizens. This move towards a structured legal system laid the foundation for future legal traditions around the world, influencing concepts of justice and the role of law in society. Number 4. Mesopotamians developed a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, charting the stars and planets with impressive accuracy. Living in a region with clear skies, the Mesopotamians, particularly the Babylonians, were keen observers of celestial phenomena. They meticulously recorded the movements of the sun, moon, and visible planets, creating detailed astronomical tables. They used their knowledge not just for religious purposes, but also for practical applications like developing calendars for agriculture and predicting eclipses. Their astronomical observations were incredibly advanced for their time. They identified constellations, understood the periodicity of certain celestial events, and even developed a sexagesimal base 60 number system, which influenced our modern division of time into 60 minutes and 360 degrees in a circle. This base 60 system, unlike our familiar base 10 decimal system, was highly practical for calculations involving fractions and divisions, as 60 has numerous divisors: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and 60. This made it ideal for astronomical calculations where precise divisions of circles and time were crucial. The legacy of this Mesopotamian mathematical innovation is still evident today. When we look at a clock and see 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, or when we measure angles in degrees, with a full circle being 360 degrees, we're directly using a system that originated thousands of years ago in the fertile plains of Mesopotamia. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: Mesopotamia was a hotbed of agricultural innovation, transforming barren lands into fertile breadbaskets. Located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia was geographically blessed with fertile soil. But the irregular flooding of these rivers required sophisticated water management. The Mesopotamians developed intricate irrigation systems, including canals, dams, and reservoirs, to control the flow of water, bringing water to dry areas and preventing destructive floods. These irrigation techniques allowed them to cultivate staple crops like wheat, barley, and dates in abundance, supporting large populations. The agricultural surplus not only fed their burgeoning cities, but also created opportunities for trade and development of specialized labor. This mastery of water management was a key factor in their economic prosperity and the growth of their civilization. Now for some news you can use. To really understand the importance of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to ancient Mesopotamia, try a simple home experiment. Create a miniature river in a shallow pan using some sand or dirt to represent the land and pouring water. Observe how the water naturally flows and pools. Then try to imagine how the Mesopotamians, without modern technology, had to build complex systems of canals and levees to control this powerful force for irrigation and flood prevention. This hands-on visualization can help you appreciate their ingenious engineering skills and the constant battle they faced to harness nature for their survival and prosperity. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. Earlier in the episode, I asked if you thought ancient Mesopotamians used chocolate as a form of currency. Well, this, my friends, is a fallacy. While ancient Mesopotamians were incredibly innovative and resourceful, the use of chocolate as currency in burial goods is just not true. Chocolate, derived from the cacao bean, is native to Mesoamerica, modern-day Mexico and Central America, not Mesopotamia. The ancient Mesopotamians had no access to cacao beans and therefore no chocolate. Their economy relied on a system of bartering and later use of standardized weights of precious metals like silver as a form of currency. And while their burial practices involved various grave goods, there was no chocolate. But the idea of chocolate as currency isn't entirely false. In ancient Mesoamerica, cultures like the Maya and Aztecs really did use cacao beans as a form of money. They were so valuable that they could be used to purchase a wide range of goods, including food and clothing. Historical records indicate that a turkey hen might cost 100 cacao beans, and they were often included as a tribute payment to rulers. Chocolate really does have a wild and fascinating history, and I'll be sure to cover it in a future episode. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning about Mesopotamia with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.